Welcome back, everybody. This is Brothermutant here. We have a kind of a recap video for a reason. I shut down the video early. If you watch the very end of the Maimed Saga, you'll see that I did what I was supposed to here, leveled up. There was nothing to grab here and here. And when we went and talked to this guy, the statue of Tyr, there was supposed to be a cutscene. Well, a cutscene started, but it took so godly long to go from the first cutscene window to the next one that I assumed it was the end, and I clicked trying to get it to go forward, and apparently it just shut it down. Well, that's not fair for the modder and the other great people that brought us this module, as far as I'm concerned. So I wanted just to have a nice little recap video. A, to talk about what I liked and disliked about this particular module, and B, to actually show the credit scene. Plus, it gives you a little bit of background story for the characters, what happened to them, as far as the church, the heroes themselves, and whatnot. So first, before we click on and go to the cutscene, let me tell you what I did like about this particular module. Obviously, it is a low magic, low gold, low magic item module. I'm fine with it. I actually was kind of dragging on because I thought I should have been getting more gear. Once I realized I shouldn't have been wasting time getting the gear after equipping the best of the best for me and my compatriot, I should have just kept stuff behind. It would have been a lot faster. We didn't really need the money. We really didn't buy a whole lot of things that could have been used. So if I would go back and play it again, let's say as a female cleric and get the male compatriot, I'd probably do it that way. Now, other than that, the fact that it was specifically for clerics I thought was pretty cool. This is one of the first modules I've ever played where my cleric actually stood out as a cleric, as a holy warrior that was specifically made to follow the tenets of the god and the deity that we're following, uphold his or her beliefs, and do our best to be as holy and righteous as possible. So I was a big fan of the mod, you could say. I gave it, I went back to it, the forums, gave my little description of what I liked, disliked, and the couple little glitches that I caused, things that people might have problems with as well. Other than that, I wanted to make sure that people knew that even though I gave it a 9 out of 10, I thought it was very good. And the only thing that kept it from that elusive 10 out of 10 stars was the fact that I really did play The Wizard's Apprentice, which you'll probably see in my Let's Play list. And I was a big fan of it. Even though the third act of The Wizard's Apprentice was rushed, I still liked it. I thought it was very fun, very innovative. And a couple of the things that I think that the modder could have done better for this mod would be pacing. There was plenty of story. There was certainly a lot to read. And while that's not a problem, when you're doing a Let's Play video, it's kind of monotonous when you guys get to hear me drone on and read pages after pages of text. So it wasn't ideal for that. But for playing it, I thought it was great. The one or two things that I would improve if I had the know-how, much like the Wizard's Apprentice, where they use spells for a variety of unique things, you know, like melting the lock with an acid spell, or the hole in the wall with an acid spell, using cold spells to put out fires, things of that nature. I think they could have incorporated a few things like that for the cleric. I don't know how they do it, since you have to pick your spells and they don't allow us to take a knee at every given opportunity. So there's that. There was a couple of times where I felt that I kind of was cheated by not having a specific type of cleric spell. And since we needed a lot of the buff spells, you know, the shields, the increased strength or dexterity to increase our physical stats to make our character stick out and win some of those fights, because they were pretty tough fights, I felt that I was hedging my bets a little bit for what else I could have incorporated into my spell book, so to speak. The cure diseases and poisons and stuff of that nature. Probably would have seen more use in this module if I'd known which one to pick. That would have been useful information. I'm not saying it's something that could have happened, but in my explanation on the forums for what I thought may have been useful would be if the modder, and this is a big if the modder was capable of suggesting spells for every encounter every day that you're relearning your spells. For example, a hint from your deity saying, oh, you're going to go fight this battle, perhaps you want some neutralized poison. I'm a deity, you can trust me on this, and therefore you'd have one slotted in advance. I don't know how you could make it work, but I've always been a fan of people giving suggestions on that way, because, I mean, let's face it, it is the deity. The deity clearly smarter than your character is, and may have a better feel for what spells you might need today. Having said that, I'm still okay with it. It's still a great module. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10. And let's see what happens to our characters now, shall we? So, this is where I made the mistake last time. Basically, I tell them what I've done, and it goes us to the cutscene. Now, I'm just going to let it play, read it, of course. And so ended the battle of the heart and soul of the Tyran Church. The festering corruption of Malar had been excised, but not without a terrible cost. The Tyran host had been greatly diminished, not only by the ejection of the false followers, but also by the deaths of so many true believers. In many of the churches and barracks of the northern Sword Coast, the empty chairs outnumbered those that were occupied. The realization that the fallen paladin, Halloran Deslantir, could achieve its highest office sent shockwaves through the church, leading to incriminations and suspicions that threatened to tear apart the very fabric of the Holy Communion. Yet all was not lost, for there were many heroic examples that inspired those that were left. Brother Turnius was interred with great ceremony in the crypts of the Cathedral of Waterdeep, and the martyr's grave is a site of pilgrimage that gives hope to thousands of the faithful to this day. It was a new and glorious morning in Navatranasu. Wedding bells pealed through the vale as Jellica Van Gaunt was wed to a member of the House of Marinos of Waterdeep. At last, free from the curse that had plagued the town for 200 years, the carefree couple wasted little time in producing an heir, the future Albert III. The villagers' faith in Tyr was renewed, and with a spiritual reawakening came the cleaning, restoration, and expansion of the town's massive cathedral. The most noticeable additions were the statues, likenesses of the two revered heroes that had forever freed the town from Malar's corrupting influence. And speaking of our two heroes, their fame brought them not only pleas for assistance and lucrative job offers, but also the unwanted attention of assassins and warlords out to make their own fortune. Indeed, the path they would tread would be fraught with danger at nearly every turn. Yet it was always a path for two. For the most inauspicious of beginnings, love's seed had truly blossomed, and from that day forward theirs was a tale of two halves woven into one. They traveled the length and breadth of Faerun, putting the enemies of both Tyr and nature alike to flight. Meanwhile, little had changed in the multiverse. The great wheels of the cosmos, joined as the gods continued their endless games, constantly seeking to outdo each other as their loyal followers desperately sought a greater meaning in the resulting carnage. And what of Tyr? Though Malar was defeated, there would prove no end of new challengers, and the Lord of Justice would rarely rest easy. This is neither the time nor the place to tell of such trials and tribulations. Rather, these tales will be left to future chapters in the Maimed Saga. Well done, guys. Well done. It's nice to see what happened to our heroes. It's also nice to see the Van Gaunts get married. And with that, we'll just let the credits play through. Some fantastic work by a variety of people, and I want to make sure to give them credit. Story and design by Russ Davis, who's known as Tiberius 209. Campaign music by Strange Cat Productions. Very nicely done. Werewolf model by Johnny Ree. Maimed God Saga logo by Nicholas Hugan. Do apologize if I'm pronouncing those wrong. Beta testing by Dave Edwards, Alexander Lasner. Special thanks to Luke Skull for testing and advice. Very nicely done, guys. I just think it's a shame that it wasn't a part 2. Maybe there was and I just never found it. But for a part 1, man, it was huge. I think they did an excellent job. I think it is particular module, if you aren't, doing videos like I am doing and we're just sitting down and playing it, you could probably complete in a good weekend or two, a good solid couple days of playing it. Not even just for a few hours at a time. We're talking like an 8-hour day, like a job. I think they did an excellent job. But with that, my name's Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I hope you guys did enjoy the Maimed God Saga. Bye now.